What's going on, guys? Welcome back! No, I mean that, literally, like, welcome back. It has been too long since we have been back in, well, my apartment. As you guys know, I've been flying all over the US, attending KCON in LA, and then flying to the other side down to Pittsburgh, where I live, to visit my hometown and family. And now, I am finally back home. It feels good to be back. I hate to quote The Wizard of Oz.
There's no place like home.
Today, guys, we are going to be doing yet another creepy video. Now, what I usually do on my reading creepy stories videos is I usually just read one long story. But today, guys, I'm going to switch it up, and I think I might even title this video a little bit differently. Might even like start a new series if you guys want me to. But basically, I'm going to be reading several short stories instead of one big long story in this video. The initial theme of these stories revolve around stalker encounters. So I don't know if you guys have ever, come into contact with a stalker, or maybe somebody that just follows you around, what's the difference? But we are going to be reading some first-hand cases where people were actually stalked or kidnapped, or I don't know, just like really just creeped out by people following them around. This is coming straight out of a Reddit subreddit called Let's Not Meet, so shout out to them for these awesome stories. I'll leave a link to their subreddit down below. The first story that we're gonna read is called Pedo-mobile. Now, when you first hear that name, you immediately think, whoa, what does that mean? That sounds eerie. Pedo-mobile. Or maybe it's pedo-mobile. Regardless of if you're confused on how to pronounce it, guys, I'll just save you the trouble. It's spelled wrong. I'm like 95% sure they spelled it wrong. It's actually supposed to say pedomobile. For some reason, the author of this story has, I don't know, dyslexia or something. Whenever they try to type words that, use the O character, they type I pretty often in this story, just a heads up. So I'm pretty sure the title is supposed to be pedomobile, as in like, a car that pedophiles drive. Let me start with a little backstory. I was 28 when this happened. My daughter was 8. My wife, her mother, was hospitalized with pneumonia. Damn, dude, already on a terrible start. I feel bad for this guy. The hospital she was in is 2 hours from our house. Visiting hours ended at 9:00 p.m. It was a Friday night, and since my daughter hadn't seen her mommy in a few days, we went and stayed till the nurses made us leave. It was almost 10 o'clock when we finally pulled out of the hospital parking lot. Alright, here's the first, little mistake. Notice how it says pulled out if the hospital parking lot. Again, I'm 95% sure that that's supposed to be of the hospital parking lot. The only thing I can come up with is that he meant to type O, but he hit I, because if you look on a keyboard, I is right next to O. So just a heads up for that, guys, there's probably going to be a lot of ifs that are actually supposed to be ofs. At the time, cell phones were still uber expensive. The car I owned at the time was an old Pontiac Sunfire, and decided to give up the Ghost about an hour from home. So, it's dark, lonely, middle of nowhere in the hills of Kentucky. Everything is good as we head home, my baby girl talking about what kind of handmade cards she was making for mommy when we got home. The radio was off, and like I said, was all good. Then, it wasn't. The car stalled and refused to start back. Dude, I already know where this is going. The car stops in the middle of the road, and some crazy people probably give him a lift. I managed to pull to the shoulder of the road and told my baby to lock the door and not to unlock it for anyone except me. She nodded and proceeded to hit the button. I raised the hood and tried to see if I could spot any obvious reason for the engine to die. Of course, there wasn't one. After a few minutes of checking fuses, checking for fuel pressure, etc., I decided that the car was a lost cause, and that we had to get the hell home. It was a secluded back county road, and there wasn't any houses for about a mike. About a mike? Pretty sure they mean mile. My dude, like, come on. Like, I see that the L is right next to the K key, but can't you proofread a little bit, my dude? Alright, I'm just kidding. It's not that big of a deal. I'm pretty sure we all can tell the difference between Mike and mile.
I'm Michael Jordan.
Unless there's an actual expression where you say, yeah, I'm about a mile away. There wasn't any houses for about a mile and a half from where we were. I told my baby to get out of the car, and I put her up on my shoulders. We walked for about 10 minutes before headlights approached from behind. I won't say that I was not relieved when an older couple pulled up and offered us a ride to the house. They explained that they lived just a few miles from where I told them we lived, and they had been to his sister's house for dinner and were on their way home, and since it was on the way, they didn't mind giving us a ride. I accepted and climbed in the back seat with my little girl. We ran in silence for a few miles when the older woman started talking to my daughter. She talked about animals and farms, simple stuff like little kids enjoy hearing about. As they talked, I noticed the old man's eyes in the rearview mirror lingering in my daughter's area. Oh, hell no, dude, you better get out that car right now. Either that or sock the old geezer in the face. Oh, dude, nothing irks me more than disgusting people like that, dude. Okay, let me shut up. Let's find out what happens next. I quickly moved over and picked my daughter up, placing her on the other side of me, next to the rear passenger side door. The old man huffed a little bit, and the woman continued to speak. That's when I noticed that the woman was looking behind her, beside the seat, and staring oddly at my baby. Oh, dude, what the even the woman too? By now, we were a few blocks from the house, and I told them to stop the car and let us out. That we would go to my brother's house that was just there. I'm an only child. Before my daughter could say anything about me not having a brother, I squeezed her hand a little bit and she just stopped. Oh dude, that would have been close. Imagine if the daughter spilled the beans right there. The man argued with me for a second and didn't want to stop the car. He acted like I had insulted him and proceeded to say stuff like, well, the girl wants to stay with us, but you can get out, and I wasn't planning on this. By now, I was scared and severely pissed off. I politely told the man to stop the car then and now, or I would Rio his face off. Rio? Rip! Rip! O is right next to P. Dude, okay, this is like a puzzle at the same time as a story. I'm pretty sure he didn't mean he would Rio his face off. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be rip. He would rip his face off and use it to gag him. Dude, the dad's a badass. I like it. He stopped, and as we got out, the woman turned to my daughter saying, remember, I said you can come and play with my horses anytime, sweetie. And then turning to the old man, she said, what did you do? We were almost there. Did you see her? What's wrong with you? The old woman's last sentence was muffled by me slamming her door and walking to the first house with the lights still on. I called the police, gave a report, and they took us home from there. A few days later, I took it upon myself to drive by where they said they had lived. The house was empty, and had been for quite a while. I still call the county sheriff every now and then to see if they ever found anything out. Nope. Hey old creepy fucks, let's not meet again. And that is the end of the story. Wow, I don't know what to say about that except close call. Now these stories, guys, keep in mind, they are supposed to be more or less based on true, actual, first-hand experiences. So that should just, like creep you out even more knowing that this, allegedly actually happened. Just imagine if the dad didn't, continue driving with them. What would they have done? Like kill the dad and like take the girl? There is a lot of disgusting people out there, guys. So honestly, if this is real, take it to heart and don't think that stuff like this only happens in movies. It happens in real life too. Alright guys, moving on to the next story. This is called Kentucky Truck Stop. As you can tell from the title, it takes place in Kentucky, at a truck stop. Now, as we all know, truck stops are they can be dangerous, disgusting, dirty places. The main character of this story is a 17-year-old girl, so with that said, you should already be scared. Let's begin. When I was 17, I moved out of my parents' house and began working as a carny. This required me to use my pickup to tow things around. Okay, I don't know what a carny is. Let me look that up right quick. Okay, a carny is a Canadian economist who currently serves as governor of the Bank of England. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's not right. Okay, according to Wikipedia, I'm sure all of these aren't right either. Okay, never mind. Well, she's a carny. One night, I was heading back to South Carolina and had stopped in Kentucky at a truck stop to use the bathroom and get a snack. It was about 1 a.m. I parked on the side of the building, went inside. I always got super sketched out stopping at night, just because I was a 17-year-old girl. As I was walking out, I heard, "Hey, baby, damn, where you going?" He kept saying things like that until I was out of view. It was a tall, skinny black man walking out of the store behind me. I hustled to my truck and locked myself in. Now, that should have been enough to make me get out of there immediately, but being tired, I decided to sift through my phone before heading out again. About 10 minutes after the cat calls, I see the same man emerge from behind a dumpster near where the semis park. A car pulled up next to the dumpster just as he walked out. What I saw next made my head spin. I couldn't believe what I had witnessed. Still can't. The back door of the car opened, and a little white blonde girl, maybe 12, got out. He grabbed her by the hand, walked her behind the dumpster toward the semis. The car took off. Dude, what the funk, man? Like, speaking of like creepy pedophiles, what the heck? I just picked these stories at random because, they got like good reviews or something, but this is just funked up. Looks like we're dealing with some, I don't know, like human traffickers or something, and that stuff is real, guys, even at truck stops. I was shaking so bad, but I managed to find out where I was and call the sheriff. He met me in about 10 minutes, and I told him exactly what I had seen. He didn't seem too surprised. He said they'd look over surveillance tapes, and I'd made sure to include how he catcalled me so they could see exactly which guy I was talking about. I left and have no idea whatever came of it. The guy was probably long gone with the girl before the sheriff met me, but maybe, just maybe, I saved her from a life of being a sex slave. So, child molester trucker, let's never ever meet. And I hope you never meet a child in a truck stop parking lot again. And that is the end of the story. Wow, guys, like seriously, they're not that like horrifying or like creepy when you just hear them, but when you take into consideration that these are supposedly allegedly real experiences and stories that happen to real people just like you and me, when you think about that, it just makes the whole thing even darker and scarier. Let me know down below in the comments, what are some of your creepiest, scariest experiences or stories with a stalker or some creepy encounter you guys have had? Now, me personally, I luckily have not had too many creepy, scary stalker encounters, aside from fan fictions. A note falls out.
Hey handsome, meet me at the Times Square Mall at 6:00 p.m. I'll be waiting.
Anyways, let me know if you guys like this type of video. I know you guys really love when I read stuff, so if you guys like this type of video where I read, I don't know, several short stories in a row, or you just want me to go back to my normal reading one long story for a creepy video, just let me know down below in the comments. I'm just kind of trying out new stuff for ya. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button for more terrible videos like this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, we will see you guys in the next video. Good night.